So, Dave, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, now the kind of fun part starts really. We've done the hard work, as you said, and we've built the ABM foundations, or solid ABM foundations. And obviously, we talked quite a lot about account tiering and the importance of account tiering for deciding which type of ABM program is most suitable for each target account. So just to refresh everyone's memory, here at the agency at Strategic IC, we deploy one-to-many for our tier 3 accounts. We deploy one-to-few for our tier 2 accounts, typically in clusters of 15 to 20 accounts, and we deploy one-to-one for our tier 1 accounts. So with that in mind, we can now start to design the channel tactics that are most suitable, most cost effective, and that will deliver the greatest impact for each tier. How does that sound, Alex?
Yeah, man, that sounds great. This is the fun part, right? The good news is there's like this huge playbook that you can order from. I suppose the important piece is, as we've discussed in the past, it's all about how you orchestrate it. Right? I think it's very easy to get lost in technology and platforms, etc. Not actually deliver on those goals. So that orchestration piece is really key. From my experience, there's so many channel tactics. They're all valid across all programs. Some are exclusive to only one channel, for example. Some might apply to two. So how about we take a look into those channel tactics, Dave?
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So let's remember that channel tactics were based on a number of criteria, right? So they'll be based on, your ABM objectives. Are you trying to win? Are you trying to nurture? Are you trying to grow? Are you trying to change perceptions, positioning, etc.? The channel tactic will depend on your ABM program. Is it a one-to-many? Is it a one-to-few? Is it a one-to-one? It will also depend on where each account is in the buyer journey, with tofu, mofu, bofu, no awareness, opportunity stage, etc. And importantly, whether the account is showing any level of intent. And then you might decide to change into what we call to promote or to demote from a one-to-many to a one-to-few, or vice versa. So as you said quite rightly earlier, orchestration is absolutely key. And, getting your band to play in tune is vital for any ABM program. So how about if we look at a one-to-many program first, and we look at, what are the most suitable tactics? And particularly, Alex, one of the reasons why we started this ABM in the house, in light of what's been happening over the last few months, whether anything fundamental has changed that would affect your channel tactics.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Well, there are some elements that are going to change, particularly in the here and now, specifically because a lot of people are working from home, and that's actually going to sort of roll out back as where people get back to the office. But let's look into the obvious one. And a lot of people think that ABM is just about like display ads. Obviously, it goes way beyond that. But for like a top of funnel approach, obviously a lot of these accounts, they're not aware of your brand or your business, right? So you can get very clever. You can use intent data to target those accounts based on the target account keywords, IP, cookie-based targeting, etc. There are lots of tools that can help you do that. So doing what I call reverse IP engineering on those display ads and make them very personalized and relevant to those accounts. Then you have like the remarketing to your website visitors to drive further awareness and engagement. I'd say that's sort of tactic 2. A third one would be LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn ads, particularly if you're selling pure B2B. Specific offers or calls to action. So watch this video, download this ebook. Sometimes it could be book a demo. Depends on that level of engagement that you built. And social selling is becoming quite a key tactic. So I think that's the fourth one for a top of funnel approach. This is where your sales team gets involved, right? They use their profiles and expand their contact network and awareness in the target accounts. If you're not including your sales team, you're leaving so much money on the table, as it were. So social selling is becoming a really important part to the top of funnel sort of awareness tactics. Does that make sense to you, Dave?
Absolutely. And I think what's really important, you mentioned obviously orchestration. Once you actually start seeing those accounts engage, and obviously, ABM is all about account level, not buyer persona level. We're looking for, signals of engagement. And we can then decide to apply various, middle of the funnel tactics without actually turning off any of the top of the funnel, because you need to continue to drive that awareness within new accounts and also within those accounts where you are seeing engagement. So there are a number of tactics that we can deploy at the MOFU stage. And there are things such as, tactics such as personalized content, which is relevant to the industry, to the sector, to the challenges, to the pains of those accounts. Creating insights is a very valuable way of actually talking to the market. You can produce, relevant success stories, case studies, what we kind of call, making the intangible tangible. Make everything that you do relatable to your target accounts, to their challenges and to the pains. Remember, this is not about you, right, Alex? It's about your clients, your prospects, and what the problems that they're experiencing, and how potentially your product, your solution could help them. Tactic 3. As you said quite rightly, your SDRs, your BDRs, your account executives, getting them involved when you see engagement is absolutely crucial. Providing them with an armory of content which is relevant to those specific issues. And we talked about that actually last week as well. Using personalized sequences. Don't over automate, I think, is a really key message here. Everything you do should be personalized. Think about each sequence that you want to create and personalize it. And as you mentioned, LinkedIn, particularly for B2B, is a fantastic tool. You can use obviously LinkedIn emails. Conversational marketing is a really interesting, relatively new release on LinkedIn, which is really worth looking at. Personalized one-to-one videos. I know you're a huge fan of that as well, via Vidyard, via Hippo Video, etc. We're seeing some great success with LinkedIn Video, really powerful tool. Voicemails as well, actually, which also we deploy through LinkedIn. And most importantly, your SDRs, your BDRs, they need to speak to the engaged accounts and to the relevant contacts within those accounts, right? Having those conversations is absolutely crucial. So I think that kind of tees us up nicely, Alex, to talk a little bit about direct mail, which I believe you know a thing or two about.
A little bit. Yeah, look, direct mail, and you asked me earlier about the current climate, right? Direct mail, we've actually seen a huge surge. And we talk about direct mail and gifting. So it could be e-gifting, but it could also be custom boxes, notes, whatever it is that you want to send. That's still very, very doable. You need a sort of a platform to help you with that. But look, for me, this is where you can make very physical impression. Like we talk about ad impressions a lot. I talk about creating physical impressions, something that's a bit more tactile and tangible. What we try and aim to do is connect the online and offline worlds, right? You can weave direct mail and gifting to support your other channel tactics. It's not sort of this one channel that you hope to get lots of responses from because it's there and in front of you. You've got to treat it holistically. So you've got to complement your webinars, your demo attendances, proposal reviews, door openers, etc. There's so much you can do, right? And I'll give you some examples of what you can do now. We miss the exec events, right? Those exec dinners that we plan as part of ABM. You can do that remotely. We are doing things with some of our customers whereby you could do like a virtual wine tasting, right? So you would use Reachdesk to send the wine. You'd get like a sommelier, you'd get all those 10 execs, and you do like a virtual wine tasting. That might be part of a wider event that you're doing. But it's about the delivery of the items straight to their front door. It could be to support your bigger online events, right? So you might do something which is more industry specific, and it's actually about helping drive attendance to those events, particularly those VIPs in that target account. You can use sort of, let's say within that event itself, create like a digital swag store. Like come meet a salesperson and they'll send you something afterwards to sort of reward you for your time. Simple things like lunch and learns, right? E-gifting is becoming really, really prominent. Imagine if you've got real engagement with someone, and you could just say, hey, how about we have like a virtual lunch and learn? I'm going to send you some Uber Eats right now. You wouldn't want to turn up hungry to a meeting with a salesperson. But again, it's what I call the principle of reciprocity. Give something, and then they will give back in return. If you do it right and you make it personalized, you can do it really well. And the final one I sort of recommend to people, particularly for like ABM, is what I call a unity campaign. How do you bring together multiple sort of senior execs? We did one once where we sent like treasure chests to people, and it had a combination lock on it. And the 3 execs would each be sent one of the numbers of the code. And when they came together, they figured out the number, they could unlock it, and then that would lead you to the next step. And within the treasure chest, there was a QR code. You'd scan it, and you could book a meeting through that itself for all 3 of you. So you can get really creative, is what I'm trying to say here. And you can very much use it in the here and now too.
I think I just love that, the way that you coin it in terms of making a physical impression. I think connecting the online and offline worlds, I think, is a really smart way of thinking about things, actually. So remember, I think the key thing we're talking about today in terms of channel tactics is you're looking for engagement and you're looking to drive engagement.